Hello and welcome to Relatively Crafty, a knitting podcast. I'm your host, Christy. I'm coming to you from the Denver area of Colorado, where I live with my husband, Ron, our two daughters, Tatum and Delaney, our tuxedo kitty, Lilu, and our Podango puppy, Sophie. Welcome. How's your quarantine going? I'm not trying to make light of the situation, but I kind of am, because you have to in order to kind of survive and make it through. So that is my coping mechanism. It always has been, and it probably always will be. I always try to find the joy in every situation, even if the joy is just sarcastic, off-color comments. Anyway, this is a knitting podcast. If you were looking for me on Ravelry, I'm Cristi-Lael, and on Instagram, I'm Cristi-Lael without the dash. I'm going to talk to you about some knitting. I've got some FOs and some whips and some new stash and very little life updates, and yeah, let's get into it. So, I have two FOs. One of them is a pair of socks you may have just noticed me take off the shelf. Today is, what is today? Today is February. No, today is April 25th. We have now been in quarantine for like 6 weeks. I think March 13th was when my company sent us home to work from home, so it's been a while. The governor of Colorado has set the stay-at-home order to go through April 26th, so tomorrow should be the last day of it, unless he makes some new changes, although he did open up the some dental offices and other medical offices starting Monday. So yeah, the mayor of Denver is doing things a little bit differently. He's being a little bit more cautious about opening things up and releasing things. In fact, he doesn't want members of the same family to share Frisbees. So he's being a lot more cautious, but we don't actually live in Denver City, so we don't have to listen to him. Look, I know it's all about being safe and keeping people from getting sick as much as possible, but the whole quarantine wasn't to keep the world from getting sick, and it wasn't to eradicate the disease. Quarantine was so that we stayed below the threshold of the medical industry and the hospitals, so that we didn't get into the situation that Italy has been in, where they didn't have enough hospital beds and enough medicine and enough doctor and medical staff to care for all of the very sick people, and so they had to be very rigorous with their triage, and it must have been a terrible situation, and I am grateful that we here in America, and other countries, of course, but I can only speak for America, worked to keep under that threshold, to flatten that curve. That's what the flattening of the curve is, but it wasn't to completely shut down the entire country. And unfortunately, if we don't start opening up some businesses soon, our economy is just going to tank, and we may not be able to recover from it. So while I don't want people to get sick, I do have to kind of understand and acknowledge the fact that a small portion of people who get COVID-19 get it bad enough for it to be life-threatening, and as long as we can keep so that we're still below that medical threshold, so that they can still get the medical care that they need, we also need to keep those people who need to pay their bills working. And if all of these businesses are closed, then these people aren't working. And the CARES Act helped to provide for small businesses to be able to pay their employees. The small business loans that had to go to pay payroll. I mean, that was the point of those small business loans, the SBA loans, the PPP loans, payroll protection plan. That was so that these companies could pay their employees for 8 weeks in order to be able to still have their doors closed, but people could still pay their bills. But there wasn't enough. I know that there has been a new relief effort put forward as of yesterday. Hopefully that will help more, but we still need these businesses to open and these people to be able to pay their bills. Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting off my soapbox right now. I'm sorry, and I do apologize if you don't agree. The wonderful thing about living in a free country is that we can all have our own opinions and not be truly punished or attacked for that. I mean, verbally attacked, of course, but you know, the government can't come in and tell us, no, you can't say that. At least not now. So yeah, so feel free to disagree with me. Feel free to, you know, debate it with me down below. I do ask that you be respectful. And I will extend the same courtesy to everyone. No matter what you say, I will be respectful. And yeah, let's just you know, we can agree to disagree. We can you can completely think I'm wrong. That's totally fine. You have every right to do that. You can also completely think I'm right. That would be cool too. Anyway, let's get back to knitting. Sorry about my soapbox. Second soapbox I got on. Okay, here we go. First pair of finished socks. Well, first FO for this. Only pair of finished socks. This is a pair of Christmas socks that was knit by Carrie, who used to die for creative obsession. She now has her, she's renamed her podcast to Carrie Makes Stuff, Carrie Makes Things, Carrie Makes something. But anyway, this was when she had her shop her shop open, and this was her Christmas colorway, I think for 2018, maybe. This was Happy Slothmas, and I absolutely love it. I did it with my normal sock recipe, Turkish toe cast on, a fish lips kiss heel, 1x1 ribbing, and Jenny surprisingly stretchy bind off. And this is pair 11 for my finished socks. I have the other 10 pairs right in here. You might remember from last podcast that I had sock yarn in here, and I don't have sock yarn in there anymore because I have wound up all of the sock yarn that I have for Christmas socks. And I did that because, as I've mentioned before, I don't have a permanent winding station, so I kind of like to try to wind everything or several things at once so that I can don't have to keep pulling out my Swift and whatnot. And so I figured I might as well just wind that up. Plus, I am kind of in a Christmas sock knitting kick right now, so I have been knitting Christmas socks. So yeah, so 11 pairs there. I do have a hoe for pair number 12 that I will show you after I show you my second and final FO. I finished my tasting menu shawl. I posted some pictures on Instagram, and I will post some pictures of it in its completeness after I show you it right now. So this was the tasting menu shawl by Telly Bean Knits, and I knit it out of 9 different minis from Bigfoot Fibers. She does primarily mini sets of like 5 skeins in her shop, and I love the way she dyes, and I love her base. Her colors are great. So I mixed together the vintage Christmas mini set that I had won in December of 2018, and then the Mother's Day set, which I think she still has in her shop. Unfortunately, I don't know that I would be able to tell you which ones went with which. I know that this red and this dark green went with the Christmas set, but yeah, I can't remember. And I will say that like two of the minis I think in here were actually other ones that I had picked from other things, because the colors in the vintage Christmas and the Mother's Day, not every one of them worked exactly with my vision for this shawl, so so I did take out a couple, but yeah. Oh, and then the main color, the main skein, you know, it takes 9 minis and then 1 full skein, and that is Hue Loco in salt water. And I used 60 grams of that, so I still have enough if I add some, add another mini to make heels and toes. I can make a pair of socks out of it. But anyway, here we go. So this is how it starts. It was a mystery cal in January, but I didn't do it in January, and yeah. So so you start here. And this was the first clue, basically what you're seeing here. And then it splits, so it's like a triangle cowl, or a triangle shawl, and then it splits to each side. This was the first side that I did, and I opted, the original pattern, you went back and forth between side 1 and side 2. I just did all of side 1 and then went back and did all of side 2. So you have, this is the main color, the Hue Loco. You have this big section with some ribbing and some lace and some garter stitch, and then you go into your next section with the minis, and you can see this side, side 1 was green, and I really like the way it turned out. I love the way that the minis complement this main color. And then side 2, obviously the center is focusing on pinks and reds. And then side 2, there's the main color again. And then I went into the second set of minis, which was yellow and blue. And I really like the way it looks with the yellow. I know that that's not, doesn't quite fit, because you've got, you know, pink and red, and then you've got green, and then this should have just been blue, but I really liked the way the yellow worked with everything, and so yeah. So here it is. Here's a picture of it completed. As far as wearing it, because you can see it's big. It could be, you know, just be worn as like a shoulder wrap. It is more of a rectangle shape, so you could definitely just wear it as a shoulder wrap. Yeah, actually, that's kind of nice. So if you're just kind of chilly, or you're wearing a dress and you just want to have something over your shoulders, this would be lovely for that. I will probably wear it more. I actually put goop in my hair today, and stuff on my face, so yeah, first time in weeks and weeks and weeks. So I will probably end up just wearing it kind of, yeah, mostly just like this. I don't really give a whole lot of effort into fixing these things up. I just kind of figure they're gonna do whatever they're gonna do, and the idea is to see the colors, and yeah. So this is probably how I will wear it when it comes time. I mean, I'm gonna have to wait, of course, until it gets colder, because we are going into spring fully. We've had some lovely 60-degree days. Next Thursday it's supposed to be like 87 degrees, which I'm not a big fan of, but it has been nice for walking the dog. We did get some more snow, though. The past 2 weeks we had a snowstorm each once each week. But yeah, so anyway, there you go. Tasting menus. I highly recommend this pattern. It was fun to knit. The sections kept it very interesting. You never had to spend too much time on any one thing. And the lace, very simple lace. The same, this is like 2, maybe 3 times through the motif, and then you have it repeated down here just 1 time through the motif. Very simple. Things repeat, and again, you're not doing anything for very long to be bored with. There are a lot of ends, I will say, because you're changing colors every couple of rows, and then you add in these extra little color bits, and those add extra ends, so be prepared for that. But other than that, it was very enjoyable. I do like when things make a lot of regular changes, and it keeps me engaged, and I like seeing lots of color. So yeah, this whole process made me very happy. So I recommend it. Okay, and that is my final FO. As I said, I do have a hoe. I have been working on my next pair of Christmas socks. If you're not familiar with the lingo, hoe means half object, as an FO means a finished object. So here is 1/2 of my next pair of finished socks. This yarn is mustache yarn in the Holly Elft kit. I think that's what it's called. So yeah, so so this color is Holly Jolly, and then the green is called Elft. So you got a 50-gram skein of each, and you're meant to make mismatched socks, polar opposite socks. So this obviously is the green one with the Holly Jolly for the heels, toes, and cuff. And then the second sock will have the Elft as the heels, toes, and cuffs, and the Holly Jolly as the body of the sock. So I have got the sock started. I had cast on both the toes at the same time with the plan of knitting them at the same time on 2 separate needles. However, I realized, as I was about halfway through the foot, that I was going to have to do an afterthought heel. So I wasn't going to be able to just do a fish lips kiss heel as I was going. I was going to have to do it after the fact. And last night, Friday nights, the girls and I watch a movie together. Ron plays D&D with his friend in California over the computer, and so the girls and I watch movies. And last night we watched Hairspray, the 2007 remake, and I was just enjoying the movie so much. I really love musicals, and so I just got most of the entire body of the sock done, and I figured, well, I might as well just finish it. So I did the ribbing last night before I went to bed, and I put the stitches in for the afterthought heel, and then this morning I finished the afterthought heel. So now I will do sock number 2. But I've got my markers in, so I know where to put the heel in on the second sock. And yeah, this actually has been very enjoyable to knit. Again, I just really like stuff that has color changes. I'm not looking forward to weaving in all these ends because there are more ends. I have basically 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 ends to weave in for a pair of socks, with which I do an afterthought heel and put in a contrasting heel, toe, and cuff. So I don't enjoy weaving in all the ends for those kinds of socks, but I do like the way they look, and I do enjoy the knitting of them. So you kind of, it's trade-offs. And speaking of my Christmas socks, these are the last 5, 1, four, keep getting myself confused. The last four pairs, four skeins of socks that I have for Christmas socks. So as I said, I have 11 made. That pair that I just showed you was pair number 12. I have 4 more skeins of yarn. That means that's only 16. So I am short, but I did, as a little birthday gift to myself, I did purchase 3 skeins in an effort to support some small businesses and to treat myself, because my birthday is next Friday, May 2nd. So I did get a skein of Socks That Rock and a skein of Knitterly Things that are coming from Simply Socks company. And then I got a skein of Regia that I got from a small Etsy shop that also is a Christmas color. And so that gives me 17, 18, 19. I still need more, but I'm getting close, and hopefully as we get it back into the fall, some of these indie dyers will start putting some more Christmas colors in their shops, and I can at least get 25 pairs before December 1 this year. We'll see. I really am looking forward to wearing all my Christmas socks this year. I know that I had said that I was going to just plan on doing it for next year, but I really want to do it this year. So this is why I keep getting confused, because this is 2 50-gram skeins. This is White Birch Fiber Arts in the La Grange Noël. And I didn't realize it when I bought it, although if I had read the tag, I would have seen, because it did say very blatantly on the tag that it was 2 50-gram skeins. So I opted to wind these backwards, so I will knit the socks backwards as well. This is it's kind of Christmassy, like my shawl is Christmassy, in that it's got, you know, the red and the pink, green and black and gray. Kind of we'll see how Christmassy it actually looks when it's done. But yes, this I will be doing. And then I also have this skein. This is Lolo did it in her sparkle sock. The colorway is Merry Gentleman. It's a very, very pretty sparkly green, variegated. I was going to say semi-solid, but it's definitely not. It's variegated, and I'm in love with it. I have a Knitterly Things, more like a Christmas tree. This is Holiday, Celebrate, and yeah, I love her. I love her stripes. She's just got the best color combinations, and I love the ones. She started out with, you know, 3 color stripes and then moved into 4 color and then increased from there. I love her multicolor, 5 plus. They're the ones that make me the happiest. And then the last one that I have is Andromeda sock yarn. This is Santa's Bermuda shorts. So it's more of a teal, aqua, and then a Christmas red mixed together, but I absolutely love the way it looks, and I think that it will qualify for a Christmas colorway, if only just simply because of the name. So yeah, so those are what I have, and then as I said, I've got 3 more coming. Hopefully they'll be here before too long, before I finish these 4 pairs of socks. And yeah, we'll just keep going with Christmas socks. I have one more whip. It is not one that you guys were expecting to see, because it's not one that I had talked about doing. It wasn't even one that I had planned on doing, but my knitting group that I meet with, the one that hangs out at my local yarn shop, Colorful Yarns rather, we used to get together once a week. Well, obviously we can't, so we've been doing virtual knit nights, and we've also been doing a lot of group texts. And so people are showing what they're working on, because we can't go to the shop and talk about it. And so several people, or at least one person knit several things, or it doesn't matter. The point is that I saw some very pretty colorwork yoke sweaters, and I just I will always admit that I am a mood knitter. If the mood strikes me, I've got to do it. So while I said that the Camaro was going to be my next sweater, I ended up knitting or casting on for this, which is not Camaro. This is a pattern by Jennifer Steingast. It's called, oh crud, I want to say it's called Daybreak, but that's not it. I know it. I will put it on the screen somewhere, but here it is. I am simply in love with how it is looking. The colors that I am using are both Chasing Rabbits Fiber Arts, or Fiber Company. This is an indie dyer that is carried at my shop, at my LYS, and I absolutely love her base and the colors that she comes up with. I have several skeins of hers just simply because they're just so pretty. So this, and what's nice is that the yarn shop does has commissioned her to do a color of the month every month. So this was actually one of the colors of the month. This was Colorful June. So June 2019, this was the color. And how can you not just be in love with that? Now, I will say that those speckles are not the navy of my contrast color, but I don't think it really matters all that much. They're more of a charcoal or black speckle. And then this is my contrast color, which hopefully you guys can see that is just true navy. It is also Chasing Rabbits in the indigo colorway. And it's a perfect companion, in my opinion, for this chartreusey, greeny, yellow, like, just lovely toxic waste color. I absolutely love it. So I'm about a third of the way through the colorwork yoke. I am enjoying it for short periods of time. As I've said before, I don't love knitting colorwork. I always love it afterwards. I love colorwork patterns. I love seeing things knit in colorwork. I'm just not as much of a fan of the actual knitting of it. And so, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, well, how much do I want it? Do I want to put in the effort to knit it? This was one of those things where, yes, I did want to put in the effort. So I'm, like, on a daily basis, I'm knitting 3 to 5 rows of color work and then letting myself knit on, like, a sock. And that's doing all right so far. But like I said, I'm about a third of the way through, and I think it's turning out beautiful. I did make one slight change. I doubled the length of the collar and folded it to make a thicker neckline, and I've always liked the way that looks on colorwork sweaters, so I wanted to do that. And one thing that I am doing differently, and I do ask that you remain compassionate with me when I talk about this, I am knitting this 2 sizes smaller than what Cristi is today. And the reason why I am doing that is because Ron and I, in the effort to be more deliberate with our lives, as I talked about in the past couple of podcasts, we are also living healthier, which involves walking on a daily basis and watching what we eat. I'm logging in my food. I've joined Noom and have been with that for almost 2 months, and am making a conscientious effort to make healthy changes in my life. So, to that end, while I am not dieting, I am living healthier, I am eating healthier, and a goal is to lose weight because I am overweight. I am technically obese, and so that's kind of the plan. So I don't want to make sweaters that are going to fit me now. I want to make sweaters that are going to fit me in the future. Hopefully by next fall, when I can wear this sweater, I will be a smaller Christy than I am now. I have already lost about 12 pounds, so I'm going in the right direction. And this might be more of an incentive to continue on with that. If I ever find myself in a point where I'm feeling stagnant about it. But yeah, I know that having been overweight most of my adult life, I've lost large amounts of weight in the past, and I have made other attempts to lose weight and have failed at those in the past, and so I like for the longest time I didn't even want to tell anybody. I wasn't going to mention it on the podcast because, you know, there's a, while the world has gotten better about the way the female body is treated, there are still some stigmas that are in my head about my weight, and it's one of those things where you can't even mention it to people until you've already lost 25 pounds, because then that's when you're really serious, right? So yeah, I have my own hang-ups, and I realize logically that they are silly. That doesn't stop them from you know, running around in my brain. As you know, I suffer from anxiety. I take medication for it. I see doctors for it. I logically know that there's no reason for me to be anxious. I logically know there's no reason for me to have a panic attack. However, that doesn't make my brain stop doing it. So yeah, this is the same kind of deal. So I am making this 2 sizes smaller. This is meant to be worn with 3 to 5 inches of positive ease. So the actual size bust measurement that I am making for this is actually what my bust measurement is, but it's meant to be worn with positive ease. So I really should be making like the 54-inch size, or 52-inch size, something like that. But I am making the 47-inch size. So yeah, the advantage to that is that I'm going to be using like a full skein less than I actually bought, which is awesome because I really love this color, so I can make myself a pair of socks to go along with my sweater in the future. Yeah. So anyway, that is my only other whip. I do still have in this gorgeous call-out bag, I do still have all of the yarn that I wound up for my Camaro sweater, and I still plan on making it. In fact, I may, once I finish the color work on that, I may end up casting the Camaro sweater on. It's still a plan, and like with that one, I will make this in a smaller size for future Christy to enjoy. Last thing that I have to share with you guys is my recent purchases that I've gotten in the house. I've been trying to support small businesses while we're going through this. I think it is my duty, since I have been able to retain my job, that I use my good fortune to help support others who might be struggling. So we on a regular basis purchase food for delivery from small restaurants, small locally owned restaurants around here, and then I've been trying to support my yarn shop and indie dyers. I have purchased yarn from my yarn shop, but I haven't gone to pick it up, so it is still there, and I don't feel too much of a push to go pick it up because I might add to what's there waiting for me, and I've already given them the money for it, so I've paid for it, so they've gotten the benefit from it, and they're not fully open, like they have somebody there to bring stuff out curbside, but I'm trying to also be respectful of the stay-at-home order, and yeah, so I'll get it eventually. But this came to my house. This is from Leading Men Fiber Arts. I got two 50-gram skeins from them. I love their dye work. I also love their base, and I love the fact that they do their Showstopper base in these 50-gram intermission skeins. It's called Showstopper Intermission, that's the base. And they're perfect for shorty socks as we're coming into the warmer months. I am going to want to have more shorty socks, and these are a perfect amount to make myself a shorty sock. This colorway is called the Upside Down, which is obviously a Stranger Things reference. I just thought it was a really pretty purple. This one they dyed specifically for the beginning of quarantine. This is called Look on the Bright Side, and it's just not only is it a great sentiment, but it is also a perfect Christy color, and so I grabbed it. So yeah. All right, guys, I think that is it. Hopefully I can get this up on my computer and edited this weekend. I'm hoping that one of the problems that I am having is getting the video from my phone to my computer. Editing it is not hard, but for some reason, getting it from my phone to my computer seems to take weird amounts of time. Sometimes it's there by the end of the day. Sometimes it takes 3 days to upload. Hopefully it will happen quicker this time. And yeah, so have a wonderful rest of your weekend, guys. I hope your knitting is amazing. I hope you're staying safe. I hope you're loving your loved ones. And yeah, just keep smiling, keep loving. We'll all get through this. And yeah, I dig y'all. Happy knitting. Bye.